Hi, I'm Josh Kettleson.
And I'm Christo Schultz.
Christo, we're told from a very young age that we need to plan our finances. And one of the most basic planning tools is a budget. How much more important is a budget for a client or an individual who wants to retire well before a typical retirement age?
Yeah. Well, one thing that I commonly hear, which is a downfall in my opinion of retirement, is, well, I'm spending this much now, but when I'm retired, I'm not going to spend near that much. That does not happen. For most people, once you're retired, you have more time for hobbies. Sure. And those usually cost money. And so you end up actually spending the same, if not more. Now, there are certain instances where, you don't have the responsibility of children at that point. Maybe your mortgage is paid off, and so that won't be there. And so you'll have a couple items that are less expensive, but typically people find a way to put that income now into other avenues of interest, sure, like hobbies today. So I think that planning around your budget today is incredibly important for the longevity of a retirement plan. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, not only budget for today, but also understand what that budget looks like 5 years from now, including those things you said, those life events like paying off debt, as if the kid's getting off the payroll, so to speak. But then you have to start thinking about, are the grandkids on the payroll of some sort at that point? Are there other things like healthcare expenses that you don't have now, but when you're 55 and 60, 65 years old, those things come into play. People also underestimate the things they want to do. When you are quote unquote retired, whether you're full-time retired, like I talked about before, a failed retirement where you're working part-time, you're gonna have a lot of time on your hands, like you said. Yeah. And excess time usually requires money. So budgeting is very important, and to have a clear idea of what your first year retirement is going to look like. And I think that's why it's so important to employ a financial planner of sorts. And the reason being is a financial planner has done this dozens, if not hundreds of times, of working people through, and we see the pitfalls, and we see the things that people have done wrong and things people have done right.
For sure. And I think one thing is that you don't often see people that go from living a certain type of lifestyle that back it off after they reach retirement. Sure. And so understanding that you don't want to go from living a lifestyle where you're spending $100,000 a year while you're working down to spending $15,000 a year. I would love to do it, it's just not realistic. And so you need to have that understanding and talk with someone that's seen it hundreds of times, to your point.
And to your point there is that people become very comfortable with the lifestyle they've developed over the years. It's not something that happened overnight, and they become accustomed to it. To go from a working professional down to the lower middle classes, revisit all over again, can be very difficult, and a lot of times it just doesn't work out.
Right.